Maybe plants are really farming us, giving us oxygen until we eventually expire and turn into mulch, which they can consume. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear as it truly is, infinite. Everything measurable passes. Everything that can be counted has an end. Only three things are infinite: the sky and its stars, the sea and its drops of water, and the heart and its tears. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. We have been to the moon, we have charted the depths of the ocean and the heart of the atom, but we have a fear of looking inward to ourselves, because we sense that is where all the contradictions flow together. If your mind carries a heavy burden of past, you will experience more of the same. The past perpetuates itself through lack of presence. The quality of your consciousness at this moment is what shapes the future. When people think about traveling to the past, they worry about accidentally changing the present, but no one in the present really thinks they can radically change the future. The nature of man is sufficiently revealed for him to know something of himself, and sufficiently veiled to leave much impenetrable darkness, a darkness in which he ever gropes forever in vain, trying to understand himself. There's nothing wrong with enjoying looking at the surface of the ocean itself, except that when you finally see what goes on underwater, you realize that you've been missing the whole point of the ocean. Staying on the surface all the time is like going to the circus and staring at the outside. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. All endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. Dream the impossible dream and the world will not grind you under, it will lift you up. This is the trick, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a feather bed. An infinity of passion can be contained in 1 minute, like a crowd in a small space. When the wind of change blows, some people build walls, others build windmills. When you reach for the stars, you are reaching for the farthest thing out there. When you reach deep into yourself, it is the same thing, but in the opposite direction. If you reach in both directions, you will have spanned the universe. He who fears he will suffer, already suffers because he fears. Trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty. Enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible. It is not until much later, as the skin sags and the heart weakens, that children understand their stories and all their accomplishments sit atop the stories of their mothers and fathers, stones upon stones, beneath the waters of their lives. If elevators hadn't been invented, all the CEOs and important people would have their offices on the first floor as a sign of status. A fine is a tax for doing bad. A tax is a fine for doing good. The tallest person in the world has physically experienced being the exact height of every other person in the world at some point. Apparently, a lemon is not naturally occurring, and is a hybrid developed by crossbreeding a bitter orange and a citron. Life never gave us lemons, we invented them all by ourselves. Both concrete and glass are mostly made of sand. which makes skyscrapers just really tall sandcastles.